right, guys, sorry about the delay. We're going to get into this. And more importantly, what I'm really hoping for is that you utilize the disc differently than you have in the past, because we're moving into a new world. It's going to be different in how you communicate with your buyers, especially because now you're going to have to ask them for things that are going to be a little bit more difficult. And you can say all day long, it's not going to be a big deal. It will be if you don't know what you're saying. And if you have the wrong personality type, wrong being you're dealing with a high D and you're coming at it from an I's perspective, you better have some value. And so we're going to go into some depth on how the disc works, and then we're going to get into agent metrics. If you are great at agent metrics, fantastic. If you're not, you really want to learn how to use this program, because we spend a lot of money on it. And I have agents that are getting listing after listing after listing using this program. So we want to help you get that same result. All right, Melissa, turn it on. All right, so in the room, and I know we have people at home, so if you want to hop on at any point and say something, please feel free to ask any questions. It's an open forum, but we want to know who is familiar with the disc and who has done their disc. All right, Carl, what's your disc? What's your two big ones? Okay, your IS. How about you, Mel? DI. Okay, who else? We're going to show you how to read your disc.
The video slide for me so I can test the audio really quickly.
Okay, so you are high I. If you'll scroll down a little bit further, we're going to show you on your discs at home. I can give you about what the number is. Keep going, please. So if you're using the disc from our office, and that means you have the Abelson disc. Okay. So your name, please. So we're with Kathleen, and Kathleen's, if you don't mind us sharing, she is naturally a D at about 63 and I at 92. Then when she goes to work, her D drops to 42, but her I is high at 92. It doesn't change. So when you have your two biggest ones and the biggest one doesn't change, that is your dominant trait, and it's the one that you lead into. So how does somebody who loves everybody, which is a high I, and likes to talk and likes to engage, ask that buyer who they've never had to ask before to help participate in paying the commission? You better know how to talk to them. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck getting whatever they decide to pay on the seller side, and that may be nothing. So that's what we want to help you get through with the disc. Yes, Trish. Melissa, we have people on Zoom trying to get in.
I don't see anyone.
Is it this Zoom? Yeah, we're not seeing it.
No. Yeah.
Can we check that, please? Is whatever's on the calendar, if it's different than this, I'd like to get that sent out. All right. Okay, so how do we resolve that?
The link on the calendar has been updated.
Okay. If we have more high Cs on staff, we don't have that challenge, right? Because they're going to make sure every detail is watched. But it's tough to get all of that. This is one of the calendars right now. But earlier it wasn't and changed. Yeah. So I want to make sure that they're able to get on. So Melissa, can you reach out to Trish? Are you able to text her?
Trish,
Oh, it's
Trish.
being,
Which Trish?
we got it covered. We got it covered in-house.
Okay.
All right. So this whole changing and learning a whole new world where the buyer now is going to have to participate, and we can act like, oh, it's probably not going to come to fruition. It already has. We already have plenty of sellers not paying the full 3% to the buyer's agent, and the buyer's agent can either live with that or they can talk to their client, to their buyer saying, hey, need some help here. And so we're going to have to get good at that. And again, if the personality is a D, it's very different than if the personality is an I, because the I wants to get along with everybody and they work a lot more on emotion and less on logic. And so you want to hit those emotional buttons. And so that's all part of what we're going to intertwine today, how they think. So we're going to give them a few more seconds on this to get those people in that we're trying to get in, but it's going to be important. We have 119 pages of basically scripts that Melissa, my amazing assistant in the Philippines, put together, and it's broken down really cleanly. You can take a look at what the question that's coming from the buyer or seller and what the correct response is, and how to deliver that response, and in many different ways, because we're going to answer it in different styles. And so Melissa just knocked that out. So by the way, if you ever do need leverage with a virtual assistant, there's your QR code, and you can check into who we have on staff. Take a look. Okay. All right, so let's get into it.
I might hang on. Can you make me the co-host, please, so I can see the people coming in?
You want to be the co-host? You're the host.
Host, host would be fine.
Very
Oh,
dominating.
thank you.
All right. So like I said, we've got those. You're going to want to learn those. But again, if you're talking to a C versus a D versus an I versus an F, that dialogue has to be tapered to match that personality type. So one of the questions is, how do I know what somebody else is? Well, we're going to go into the traits you're looking for. So right now, Chris is trying to fix all this stuff on the computer. You guys can see him on the camera. Chris is high C. He does things a certain way. He's very patterned. How many times a day do you go walking? Every hour he's outside walking. How much weight have you lost in that time that you've been doing this?
40 pounds.
He's 40 pounds down. So that's a very regimented. A high I, they're going to get excited to go walking once, and then they're going to kind of lose interest, and they're going to move on to something else. And it's just more difficult for them. It's not that they can't do it, it's that they're not regimented like a high C is. So let's take a look at what we're talking about for the disc. So what are the keys to unlocking the disc? Well, there is no right or wrong disc. In this room, we have different personality types. Carl, you're very different than several of the people in this room. Just your personality type is. We all have a little bit of each of them. There's nobody that has a 0 in the D, I, S, or C, but there are varying amounts. We all have our strengths and we all have our weaknesses, but sometimes we don't know how to capitalize on the strengths, especially when we're dealing with a different personality type. We just need to respect what we are and the discs of other people. So, successful people, they do know who they are. They know their strengths and weaknesses. They respect the others, as we talked about. They surround themselves with capable people. So who has heard we are the 5 people we hang out with most? There's a lot of truth to that. And we know when to use our strengths and when to allow others to compensate for their weaknesses. So what is the DISC? The DISC is a report that you guys ran. If you want to run it, Melissa can send that to you. If you send me an email at Michael B, like boy, Michael B at kw.com, she'll get it. She'll shoot you the DISC. Don't do it now, but it'll give yourself 15, 20 minutes to do the DISC, and we'll have the results immediately, and we can go through those with you. But after today, you should have a good understanding of how to read it. So it is an objective way to look at behaviors. It is the what of behaviors. It's computer generated, so results are instant. It is a great tool we use for hiring. We use that along with the KPA, a different assessment when it comes time to hire somebody. And we also take a look at teams. If you're on a team or you're looking to join a team, we use that to match up. I have a company in the Philippines for assistants. We look for a specific type of personality. We look for SC with a trailing I. That's the goal. We want somebody who is detailed, task-oriented, and has some personality. We don't want too much personality because then we leave things hanging, because high I's are very energy focused and they're not as detail oriented. I'm not talking about you, Miss Super I, but all the other high I's out there. So it is not a perfect reflection of people's behavior, but it is a tool that it is used by therapists. We have one in particular that has used it on over 2,000 of their patients. Their patients are physically and emotionally abused by their spouses. And so this therapist specializes in that. And the majority, 93%, are high S. We know that high S will stick around in a bad relationship, in a bad job, in a bad anything for the fear of what else is out there. So it's a very interesting to study this. All of my virtual assistants are pretty high S, stick around, which is wonderful. They're the greatest people in the world, but that's a tendency of a high S to stick around in something that isn't great. It's not how we think or process, but we know that high C's do better on the SAT. So the SAT test, they do better by about 25 points over some of the other groups. Now, take a look at the D. D is dominance. Love them or hate them, dominant. No one will disagree with that. Forceful, they like to direct, they like a challenge. They're ambitious and driven. They're very driven, strong desire to win. They're independent, they do things not necessarily with the approval of everybody, and they're very confident. Tendencies of a D: decisive, demanding, strategic. They see big picture, they do not see little details. That's why when you have a high D, I'm a high D, I have an assistant who is SC, all the little details she picks up and takes care of. They're daring, in control, they like to take charge, assertive, direct. They may interrupt people mid-sentence. How's our volume, Chris, on this? Okay, they may interrupt and they may be insensitive to feelings. So I've had to work on that over the last 16 years of being here. Come in with my high D dominant. I have to work on being more sensitive because most of our agents have a lot of I in them. That's the majority. I, D, D, I. It's that I side I got to make sure that I'm compassionate to. The S's and the C's, I really have to work to work with them because they do things at a different pace. And they're also very accurate, so I might be a little jealous. All right, go ahead, Melissa. This is a high D.
Tony,
No,
you
it's a
have to go
complete
to the
answer.
hospital. The
Chris?
I don't have
doctor
to give
has to
anything
look.
up.
Go ahead from the beginning.
Yep.
Tony,
No,
you
it's a
have to go
complete
to the
answer.
hospital.
I
The
don't have
doctor
to
has
give
to
anything
look
up.
at
In
you.
captivity for 3 months, there are 2 things I want to do. I want an American cheeseburger.
and the other
That's enough of
is
that.
not what you think. I want you to call for a press conference now.
Call for a press conference.
Hogan,
What on earth
drive.
for?
Cheeseburger first.
So he just got out of being attacked in the Middle East, and he's ready to do all of these things. That's a high D.
Tony,
No,
you
it's a
have to go
complete
to the
answer.
hospital.
We don't need it
Oh,
again.
sorry, hang on. There we go.
So in that personality style, it's difficult to manage somebody like that, right? Not Brad Pitt. It's difficult to manage somebody like Tony Stark because it's just boom, boom, boom. They get stuff done, but they break a lot of things along the way. That's who they are. I do the same thing. So don't try to build personal relationships with a high D up front. They are business first, then friends, maybe. So you can get into business conversation with them. If you can show up and say, my job as your buyer's agent is to make sure that you get the best deal on any home that we look for. I'm going to fight for you. And two of the properties that you've chosen, they're not offering the commission that I typically get paid. And so I'd like to discuss with you, because I'm going to put myself out there, because I'm going to give you everything I have, and I have a proven track record to get the most for my clients, the best deal at the lowest price. Would you be willing to cover the compensation that's the deficit from what we originally agreed upon? That's how you deliver the script to a high D. They don't want any fluff. They want direct. And so if you learn how to do that, you're going to do very, very well in this new world. So don't be unprepared. Know how to
Sorry.
communicate what I just did. Don't leave issues cloudy or with loopholes. Well, when are we going to go ahead and get the house painted? It's like, we need the house painted by June because in July we're listing this thing and you need to be in your new house by January, and it's taking about 5 months to close in this area. You gotta know what you're saying. Don't ask rhetorical questions. So, how's the weather? What did you think of the eclipse? They don't care. What they care about is business. Don't take issue with them personally, because sometimes they can be pain in the asses. This is who they are, but they get things done. They get things done. Don't force them into a losing situation. So what might a losing situation be? It might be, it's been 2 weeks and we haven't had anybody giving us an offer, so we need a price reduction today. Well, that's a losing situation for them if you don't give them a little bit of prep. In this area, typically, when we have 5 or 6 buyers, we're going to get offers. In this case, we haven't. So I'd like you to consider a price reduction. Not you have to do it today, but I'd like you to consider. It's important that you prep them ahead of time. Don't come with decisions made for them, kind of like leading back into this previous one. Let them make their decisions, but give them much advice on how to do it. And here's the quote for a D: what's the point of playing if winning isn't the goal? Very true. Now, I do have a lot of I in me too, so I'm not a total jerk. Influencers, these guys are fun. People like the high I's. They just are a joy to be around. They're the people at the party that are in the front, and they're just a great time. And they turn out to be really, really good real estate agents if they have some accountability. What that means is, if somebody can hold them to what their goals are, because they will throw out, they're the first people when I meet with them saying, I'm going to make $1 million this year, but there's no plan. If you can work with them on a plan, like if you take Bold, there's a plan there, you have a better likelihood of hitting your goals. So they like involvement with others. We have a culture committee. Today, the culture committee met, a lot of eyes in that group. And so they like to talk about what we're going to do at the team meeting today. And they did. They came up with the little money thing that you saw. That's the kind of fun that they bring to the table. They plan a Red Day where we're going to be making food for 8,500 kids. That feels pretty good. That's a high I, getting excited about what they can do. The best people in the world. They want to be liked. They like a challenge. They're very trusting. And the problem with very trusting, the business we're in Texas, is it a handshake or is it a contract when we're doing real estate? So when someone says, hey, we're going to go ahead and take your deal, and they're like, oh my God, this is great. And they run back to their sellers, and then nothing comes, and they're very trusting. They're very optimistic too. So our poster child. Oh, let me get to this. It's all right. Go ahead. Flip it for me. An I may rely too much on verbals. Not that they don't care, but they don't care about the details. They manage time poorly. They act impulsively because they get excited. This opportunity isn't always going to be here. They don't necessarily listen well because they get so excited about things, and they overtrust. Second time that's mentioned. So tendency of an I, they establish rapport instantly. They come in, my daughter is a high I, 21, and falls in love with everybody, and she's the life of the party, and instantly you're on her Instagram page. That's my kid, high I. Enjoys talking. So she just got a job this week. She's going to be working in the Forest Service for the next 5 months on the beach in Oregon, ministering. She's a true believer of Christ, and so she's excited about that. She's going to minister the gospel to people, and we're very proud of her. That's a high I. Very animated, very inspiring, very persuasive, and they are so optimistic. They make you feel like you can do it, and if they have good accountability, they can deliver. They may have little respect for process, and that's the part we just need to fix. There's a process to things, and we bypass that. And they may become emotional or overly excitable, and they tend to be late to appointments. Not you, the other I's again. So let's take a look at the best I in the world.
Don't you know it's clouds and things from heaven?
Hello.
You'll find your fortune falling all over town. Be shining your umbrella. It's up, upside down, and trading for a package of sunshine and ravioli. If you want the thing you love,
You did it! Congratulations! World's best cup of coffee. Great job, everybody.
Yeah,
It's great to meet you.
for you.
Hi.
Now come over here, boy. Sam. And every time it rains, it rains. And don't you know it's crocodile? And every time it rains, it rains. And don't you know it's crocodile? Sit on your fortune, Paul.
Sit.
All over town, all over town, all over town. It's upside down. We live up. Uh-huh.
Hate that part. But when you walk into that coffee shop and you're overly exuberant about being world's best cup of coffee, I mean, that's a framed sign. Clearly, they're not the world's best cup of coffee. No one in there are eyes, but this guy is infusive, especially here in the mailroom on his first day on the job.
Needs to talk to you.
What, Chuck? I mean, what could be going on down there that's so important? You had to interrupt me. What?
It's all about this is the party pop. I'm an old soul to it. If you what it is, let me say.
Not a high I father, right? But imagine what our world would be like if we had more people like that. All right, so here's mixing them up. When you get an ID, I mixed with D, you get action, enthusiasm from the I, and results from the D. So that's a big one. I dominating the D. Just straight I, action, enthusiasm, and let's do it with other people, collaboration. The problem is you don't necessarily get the results because the follow through isn't there. I with S, which we're going to learn about in just a second, you get collaboration, you get enthusiasm, and you get the support of everybody else in the group. But you still need a driver in there to hold accountability. So communicating with an I, one, don't mandate or prevent them from talking. They love to talk. That's why at this company we have the committees. So today, like I said, the culture committee met. Tomorrow, finance committee is going to meet. Very different committees. One is more nerdy and high C's. The one today, more high eyes, more jubilant. They love to talk and they want to share and they want to express. So we have an outlet through these committees. Don't be short, cold, or closed off. Don't leave decisions up in the air. You got to have deadlines. Don't be impersonal or task oriented. They want to convey information. Real important, you don't waste time dreaming. You got to be with some kind of a schedule. Don't talk down to them and don't take too much time. Get to action items. This is what we're going to accomplish. Then we'll go have fun. So plan interactions that support their dreams and intentions. Specifically, where do you want the next 3 years as a real estate agent at KW Memorial? What would you like it to look like? Would you like to pay off your house? Would you like to set up a college fund? What specifically would make your dreams come true? Allow time for relating and socializing. Talk about people and their goals, but you got to put details in writing. Ask for their opinion. They will love to share it and provide ideas for implementing. They've got ideas. Give me ideas on how I can make it happen. Provide testimonials from people they care about or that they deem worthy. When Oprah says it, it means something. Offer special, immediate, and extra incentives for their willingness to take risks. Whoever is happy will make others happy too. Anne Frank. Okay, so we saw who the S was. It's going to be Brad Pitt. Now this is a slower moving group. This would be like high I light. So they like to listen to others, slow to change. They like to serve from behind the scenes, and they like to finish things. They have their checklist and okay, boop, that's done. That's closure. They're relaxed. They want to be on a beach. They're calm, patient, and very loyal. This is who you want to be your admin person. Melissa, you're my admin person. What's your S?
99.
99%. That's the perfect admin. Okay, go ahead. I mean, you'd be perfect at so many more things, but that's one. So, tendency of an S, they don't have a million friends like the high I's do. They have strong family ties. Maybe somebody they met from school and they will hold on to them. So it's not thousands and thousands of people on Facebook where the relationship isn't as strong. High S's are deeper. They build close relationships with a small group of friends. They speak slowly because they are thinking about what they're saying. They're empathetic. They listen. Oh my gosh, your son is going through this. I'm really sorry to hear that. I know it's very important to you. How can I help? That's showing empathy. I know that it's difficult for you because the seller is only paying 1.5%. and I work for 3%. I'm going to bring you incredible value to make sure I make up for this. Are we able to continue working together on those last 2 houses? That's asking an S to cooperate with you. These guys are logical. They think through it. You show them, they can process, and they will give you an answer. They're steady, stable, great team players, sincere. They avoid being up front. They avoid the attention. But it's cool because Melissa will go to Toastmasters. And guys, we have that every Friday at 11:30 to 12:30 here to help build you. And we get people in the Philippines that participate as well because I asked them to do it. So great team player, sincere, avoids attention, high patience, easygoing, and great listeners. Now, here's a great S. Let me set this up. Melissa. All right, so this is going to be Devil Wears Prada. This is going to be the scene where this girl has been on the job for like 2 days and she has to know the name of this guest coming into this party of the devil because she has no idea who this person is. And the girl who's training her has no idea who this person is. Go ahead.
Oh, oh my God, I just can't remember what his name is. I just saw his name this morning on the receipt. Oh, I know this. It's something to do. Wait, he was part of it. Oh God, I know this. It's Ambassador Franklin, and that's the woman that he left his wife for, Rebecca.
That's Ambassador Franklin,
Rebecca.
and that's the woman he left his wife for. That's really good detail. So how do they match up? Well, we've learned about the I. So the S is into collaboration, support, and the I, enthusiasm. Kind of a good group. Again, with a little bit of accountability, this group does well. Everybody gets along at the end of the day. There's no infighting. S alone, collaboration, support, stability. It doesn't necessarily have the enthusiasm. The SC, which we're going to learn about in a second, that's the group that is details. So you have support, stability, and high accuracy. So your accountant had better be SC or C. You want a little bit of S in there for process. Our accountant in accounting, our MCA, high SC. So how do you communicate with the high S? First, start with personal comments to break the ice. Personal comments to break the ice that are sincere. You patiently draw out their personal goals from them. You might have to ask them a few times because they're not quick to offer information about themselves. They care about others. Present your case logically. They are logic-based, softly, and non-threateningly. Softly and non-threateningly. Ask specific questions. Melissa, 5 years from now, where do you want to be?
Well, with my own business here in the Philippines.
Okay. That means you'd be leaving me.
Well, I can still, if you're not retiring, in 5 or 10 years.
Fair enough. Good. Good to know there, Tiger. Okay. No more specific questions for you. Move casually and informally. So when I got my certification for the disc, they had you test it out. But one of the things that you want to do is really test the different disc components. So there was somebody who was a high S in the group because everybody had their disc. I went on the escalator that they were getting on, and I stood directly behind them. You know, there's a million spaces, and I went all the way up to the front, rode the whole way up like that, and freaked him out at a very high level. But that was part of the thing. That was part of my certification. He had no idea. So it's very important that you understand what impacts them. If the situation impacts them personally, look for and deal with hurt feelings because they will not tell you necessarily. They won't say that they were offended. Do I have any high S's in here? Yeah, there you go. So how high, what's that number for you, Carl? 88, 90. Where are you at on that, Tanya? 50-50 with I. So for you, Carl, you know, when you're not the person that necessarily expresses something, you're the person that will teapot it, and then eventually you boil, and then it goes crazy. Yeah, it might be. Provide personal assurances and guarantees, and because here's how they work. If my bills are $100,000 a year, I go into a job, my mind is going to the person that's interviewing, hey, you got the job, let's talk about salary. I know that there are 40 hours in a week, 50 weeks in a year, 50 times 40 is 2,000, 2,000 times $50 an hour is $100,000. That's how my brain works if I'm a high S. So I need to make $50 an hour in order to take this job in accordance with my bills. If a decision is required of them, give them time to think. Don't force something on them. So if you have a seller that is a high S, let them see what's going on with the market and then just say, we need to really take a look at this because we want to catch this before the market turns too much if we're in a declining market. Don't rush into business or the agenda. They are friends first. Unlike the D, they're more like the I, where they are friends first. Don't stick coldly or harshly to business. Don't force a quick decision or a response to your questions. Don't interrupt them as they speak, but listen carefully. That's the hardest thing for a high D to do. We're thinking already and we're ready to go. So you got to let them say what they need to say. Don't be abrupt or rapid. They like a slower pace. And don't mistake their submission as satisfaction. So every day I have to check in with Melissa to make sure that I didn't overstep on anything I shouldn't have. Don't promise something you can't deliver. They will remember it forever. How do you motivate? Give them logical reasons for a change. I gave you the logical reason as to why you should agree to compensate me for showing you properties. I'm going to have this incredible buyer's book that's going to show you the value of using Michael Bossart. If you don't have one, and like Paige Martin said, only 3% of buyer's agents have a book that shows how great they are. You can have testimonials all day long. Show me specifically what you're going to do for me. Allow them to identify with the team. They're all about the team. Provide harmony in the work environment. They hate infighting. Use proven procedures, not your guessing procedures, and give them a roadmap to follow. What could you give a buyer if I'm a first-time buyer and you just put me in escrow? What will I need to know about? Because I've never bought a house before. Next steps. I mean, you're asking me for option money. What's going to happen to it? Well, you got 10 days to do whatever inspections you want. I've got the inspectors. We've got it all covered. What's this earnest money you're taking from me? Well, it's going to go towards your down payment and blah, 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 give security to the sellers. All that's important that you give them the life of an escrow. Don't worry, you got 21 days to get your financing. So we're okay. And if it doesn't make appraisal, we can back out at any time. You've got to know how to talk to a high S. Allow them to get closure on tasks because they like to finish them. Give time to adjust to change. Do we have a change coming up July 1st? Damn well better believe it. No matter how much you want to stick your head in the sand, it's coming. We're preparing you. This is what keeps me up at night. And I'm going to every seminar I possibly can and have been for the last 2 months. Bring them through change one baby step at a time. Show them you appreciate them. Carl, I appreciate you. Recognize their loyalty and service and let them know you care about them personally. Allow them to develop relationships with fellow staff and clients. The invariable mark of wisdom is to see the miraculous in the common. Now, 180 degrees outside of everybody else, but closest to the S is the C. This is James Seelig. If you know him in the office, this is James. They are precise, analytical, pessimistic. They see what's going to go wrong. High quality, and only do things, not just the rules, but the rules in the book that was printed by somebody with more authority than you. They are data collectors, and they are strong attention to details. They don't miss a beat. Tendency of a C, they are cautious decisions. They need much time. They aim for accuracy, and they're very critical of everything. They analyze everything. Conventional, generally accepted standards, and they think systems. So they want to find the problem, they want to come up with the solution, and then they want someone else to implement it. They're conscientious, they're thorough, and they're cool, formal, and reserved. Sheldon fits most of that if you've ever watched Big Bang Theory.
Do you guys mind if I start?
Penny, that's where I sit.
Sit next to me.
No, I sit there.
It's
What's the difference?
Here we go.
In the winter, that seat is close enough to the radiator to remain warm and yet not so close as to cause perspiration. In the summer, it's directly in the path of a cross breeze created by opening windows there and there. It faces the television at an angle that is neither direct, thus discouraging conversation, nor so far wide as to create a parallax distortion. I could go on, but I think I've made my point.
Do you want me to move?
Well,
Just sit somewhere else.
fine.
Sheldon, sit.
Ah,
Hi, C. Okay, so a C with an S, this is a pretty common one. If you're a C, you gravitate to an S. It's kind of like when you look at molecular structures, there's certain molecules that bond together. So CS, stability, accuracy, and the support comes from the S. C alone, accuracy, stability, and then challenges. Something's wrong, we have to fix it. And even if something isn't a big thing, they will make it into a big thing. If you'd like to see that, if you want to see it in action, come to the financial planning meeting tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And it starts at 9 o'clock because we have a high C leading it, and he will find exactly what's wrong. I already have the list. It's 19 lines long of things that we need to fix in the market center. CD, accuracy, challenge, but results. This is Gary Keller. It's that nerd over there who happens to be a billionaire. Communicating with the C, prepare your case well in advance. You're going to go over there and ask for a price reduction. You better have your story straight. Approach them straightforward and direct. If you're going to write a text, make sure that it's direct. Use a thoughtful approach, build credibility by looking at all sides, because they will look at all sides. Present specifics and do what you say you will do, because they will hold you accountable. Drop an action plan with scheduled dates and milestones. Do you think they won't appreciate you getting the life of an escrow from any one of the escrow people, any one of the escrow reps? They will appreciate it. They want that. Now, take your time, but be persistent. If they have to paint the house by a certain date, they don't need Picasso. They need to get a coat of paint on the house. Hold them accountable. They want perfection on everything, and that's what slows them down. If you disagree, prove it with data and facts. Do not tell them, or if they tell you HISD school district is the best school district, show them that that may not be the case. Here are the facts. Here are the numbers. Here are the test results. Provide information and allow much time to make a decision, and then allow them their physical space. They don't want to be touched. It's kind of fun. After we have this class, we typically ask you, if you will, hug James Seelig and just see the reaction you get. So with them, if you show up and you're disorganized, you have your listing presentation ready to go for them, but there's papers everywhere, you've lost. Don't be casual, informal, or personal. Don't force a quick decision. They need time to process. Don't be ambiguous or vague or fail to follow through, because that's what they'll remember. And don't overpromise what you're going to deliver. Don't use opinions or feelings, because that doesn't work. They are by the book. And don't invade their personal space. So how do you motivate somebody who's tough to motivate? Put operating procedures in writing. This is how we're going to do this. This is how we're going to sell your home. Have a buyer's presentation ready to go that shows what you're going to do. Don't tell them they don't care about your testimonials. Put the testimonials in there, but have something specific. This is what I do. Here it is in writing. Now, if I don't do that, you have documentation. Have safety procedures and let them follow them. We're going to be doing an open house at your house. We're going to have cameras in the front and in the back. We're going to make sure we take a driver's license from everyone coming into your precious home. They want to know this. Do not make abrupt or sudden changes, and make sure they have information and data available and time to gather or time to think. It's important. If you're asking for a price reduction, show them why. Give them time to think. Give them an objective or tough problems to solve. Hey, James, we're listing your property. I wonder if you'll be able to get it painted and the shrubs cut and new flowers put in the front within the next 7 days. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for completion. It's important you give them specifics. Recognize their quality and detailed work, but make sure they stay in a timeline. It takes less time to do a thing right than to explain why you did it wrong. That's my dad. All right, so let's compare some scenarios so you can be able to identify Is this a D, an I, an S, or a C? So we'll go through a few of them. Put it up for me. The primary need of a D is to direct. I'll get out of the way for your picks. It is okay, is to direct. They want to lead. They want to lead and they like other people to do the hard work. The I is to interact. The S is to support and the C is to comply. We're going to follow the rules here if we're going to do this. The primary emotion from a D is anger. You want to see that? Get the buyer and the seller in the same room together at closing. If there's been any kind of conflict during the transaction, you're going to get to see anger. The I is optimism. They see the good in everything. You see the good in everything. What a great personality trait to have. The S, no emotion. And the C, what's going to happen? There's fear. The D takes pride in dealing with problems. The I, people. I have 10,000 Facebook friends. The S, pace and consistency. Look what I got done today. And the C, procedures and constraints. We did it correctly. We got through this. Everybody survived. Under stress, the D becomes impatient, right? When I came into this room, nobody was ready to go over here, but you took the time to be here on time and we weren't ready. You better believe that goes through my head. The I is disorganized. There's stuff everywhere on an I. The S, possessive. I want to take care of my family if I'm a high S, and I know I need to have these things, and I start to hoard a little bit. And the C, they're just critical. So the D, emphasis is, I am shown for results and efficiency. The I, fun, the experience. You want to have a good time? Go on a road trip with a high I. Trust for the S, and the C, procedures and information. Now, how do they read? You walk into their house, you're going on a listing presentation, and you see executive book summaries. The D doesn't want to read the whole thing. They want to cut to the chase. The I, fiction, self-improvement. They like the cover. They like the color of the book. They may not read it. The S, people stories, fiction, nonfiction, and the C, nonfiction, technical journals. Risk factor, the D is a high risk taker. They make great investors. The I, moderate, the S, low, and the C, very, very low risk. For the D, rules, the ends justify the means. We'll do it. If we get in trouble, so be it. The I, they're not aware that they're breaking the rules. They did it unintentionally. The S, proven, time tested, and the C, again, by the book. When standing, D, forward leaning, hand in pocket. The I, feet spread, two hands in pockets. The S, lean back, hand in pocket. And the C, arms folded, hands on chin. How do they talk on the phone? You're working floor time. If you haven't already, get certified for floor time because we have good floor time. How do they talk on the phone? To the point for the D, no chit chat, results. Long conversations, voice variation on the I. The S, warm, friendly, but concerned. How are the schools in that property you're talking about? Okay, they're good. Okay. The C, little chit chat. What's the price? How do they talk to others? Well, the D is direct and they interrupt others and they do things to other activities. They're doodling. The I, verbal, personal with others. The S, warm, friendly, listens before talking. And the C, direct and questioning. How do they walk? The D, fast, always going somewhere. The I, people focused. They may run into things. I didn't write this. This is in the course. I know we have a high I. It's in the course. It's not something I wrote. I promise you. You're looking at me. The S, steady, easy pace. And the C is efficient in a straight line. All right, last one we'll do. How do they buy? This is an important one, especially if we're real estate agents. The D, quick. You show me the facts. Don't give me any waste. Show me the facts. I'm ready to buy today. I know there's multiple offers. Let's go 15% above list. The I, showy, flash. So how do I set up an I for showings? I'm going to the good properties, and then I'm showing them the best property at the end and closing. The S, slow decisions, and the C, very slow. Change. The D loves change. Coming to this building, I loved it. I got to be the architect of all the design. I got to look at everything. I got to pick things. So if you don't like something here, you can probably blame me. And yes, we're going to fix the ladies' restrooms and make them nicer. I'm just waiting for a little bit more cash to come in. The I may not even notice the change. The S does not like change, and the C is very concerned with the effect of change. How do they handle conflict? The D, they're going to fight back. The I, they're going to run. The S, they're going to put up with it, like that psychologist had as all of her patients. And the C, avoidance. Office decoration, status, efficient. The I, memorable experience, usually with family. The S, also family focused. And the C, graphs and charts. So if you walk in, you see graphs and charts, that seller is probably going to be a C. Gestures, big gestures. The I, facially expressive. The S, small hand gestures. And the C is very reserved. Goal setting, many high-risk goals. If they have accountability to hitting them, they do very well. The I, intention was present, the planning maybe wasn't. The S, short-term, low risk. And the C, very safe goals. I'm happy to make 2% in a mutual fund. Writing, to the point, results-oriented. Where are we looking at the property? Where are we going to be going today? What's it going to look like? What's the average price point in that area? The I, wordy, warm. The S, long with much info. And the C is to the point with much info. And then for organization, the D is not neat, but efficient. The I, just disorganized. The S, there's a system, but it's sloppy. And the C, I have no idea what the C is going to be because somebody took it out from under me, but it's going to be the only one that's neat. Proves I've taken this class way too many times. That wasn't it. The previous one. Perfectly organized. C told you the C is going to be the neat one in the group. All right, let's do the last one. Give me one more. Okay, and finally, what they strive for. The D wants control. The I, interaction, persuasion. The S, security and stability. And the C, accuracy, but they're conscientious. The D, they focus on problems and challenges. The I, people and contacts. The S, pace and consistency. And the C, procedures and constraints. What are they driven by? I can do it. You want to challenge a D, tell them that they can't, and they will do it. The I, they're liked by others. The S, they are trusted and respected. And the C, they know and they are right. Go tell Victoria that she did a bad job on your check. She missed it by like 50%, and she's going to freak out because that's important. They want to know they're right. To challenge them, doubt they can on the D. For the I, ask them to show they are liked. On the S, question their understanding of something. And the C, doubt they know it or are right. Primary fear of the D is being taken advantage of. So when I first joined, you remember Karina? Those of you, Karina, great lady. But I said, look, I hate salespeople, not real estate salespeople. I love you guys. But when somebody comes to sell me a new copier, oh my gosh. So she knew never say I'm available because I don't want to be taken advantage of. I want to spend my time with my agents, not with some salesperson. The I, their biggest fear is not being liked. The S, lack of security. Remember, you need to make $100,000. That's $50 an hour. I need security and respect. And the C, criticism of their work is their biggest fear. To deal with their fear, the D is going to fight and defend their position. The I is going to remove themselves from the situation. The S's, they're like a band of hyenas. They're going to band together with others. And the C's, they withdraw and return with facts to show that they can fight you with that. When stressed, the D blames others. Don't say it, Melissa, we know. The I, self-promotion. The S, withdraw within, and they're stubborn. That's what they do when they're stressed. They get more stubborn. And the C are picky, pessimistic, and critical. To improve, the D needs to demonstrate some humility. It's not easy. The I have personal discipline. The S have confidence. And the C be more sharing and open. There you go. That's the disc. So if I gave you a scenario of somebody that loved everybody and they just get along with everybody, they are most likely dominant with what trait? I want it to be correct. It's got to be right more than anything. See, I got my checklist and I love working behind the scenes. I am just the worst person in the world. I dominate everybody and I want to get things done. Yes, that's your D. They're not the worst. Who's the D in here? I love that. That's a good thing. All right. You feel like you kind of sort of know it? Let's take a look at memorial metrics. Who knows this program like the back of their hand? Okay, by the time we get done, let's commit to knowing this like the back of their hand. You're going to see how cool this is. Melissa, do you want to take over? Oh, I guess you.
Hang on. I think your screen is stuck or because I'm
What would you like me to do?
would you please close this one, the presentation?
Okay, stop touching it. Want me to open something?
Do you see I still see the presentation. Close that window and then
You are very demanding. You're like a,
sorry.
you just
Would you
turned.
please share your screen again, but with the desktop?
Gosh, anything else, Princess?
There we go. Here, agent metrics, and then open agent metrics.
You want me to do it? I can open
I'm
agent.
gonna request a remote control again.
That's when a high S gets frustrated, they just take over. And it's the best thing in the world. All right, hold on. All right, guys, the learning curve on this program is pretty short. If you do not practice it, you're going to need to come back. So commit to practicing it. Who in here does not have a password for agent metrics and has no idea how to get in? It's not a bad thing. Okay, you don't know. It's all right, because Melissa's going to get you set up. All I ask is tonight, while it's still fresh in your head, you practice it. If you practice this, you will be great. What's my password, Melissa? Doesn't go there. So a high S is extremely loyal. So they call them the golden retrievers. Very, very loyal, and they'll do anything to protect you. Oh, is mine on in my office?
Maybe?
I need to go turn it off. I thought this would kick me out if you turned it on here.
Could you type your usual password?
Not that.
No, that worked.
Hey. All right. I can probably run it, but stay here with me. Hold my mess up. All right. Let's take a look at two of the biggest things this thing does. It does 10,600 things. Let's learn two really, really well, right? We can learn the other 10,598 another time. You learn. I picked the middle box. That's what you guys need to say, so I want everybody to hear it. All right, so what I clicked was the middle box. You're right. Thank you, Tara, for keeping me accountable. So the middle box is going to allow me to pull up any area and see the ups and downs of that area. What we showed you today at the team meeting, if you came to the team meeting, we look at the different graphs. Every month I do a video with Brandon, and this is where we get it from. We're pulling up the main areas of Houston, or a bunch of areas in Houston. So right now I'm going to click on single family. I can click on them all. It's going to give me the same stuff. We'll pull up, Sarah, what's your zip code? Are you 494 or 450? Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. So do me a favor, use your microphone so the people at home aren't thinking I'm talking to myself. There are.
I went into this software to pull data for my listing presentation.
And where is your listing presentation at?
We're gonna do it. We're gonna.
450?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So all I do is click this. And now I know you can't read that, so I'm going to tell you guys what it says. It says there's 620 homes that sold in the last year. What's great about this program, if you were with me in the past, we had another one, but you couldn't break it down to less than the last year. A lot of stuff has happened in the last year and it's fluctuating. So we can look at the last 90 days, the last 30 days. For right now, let's go ahead and get data on the last year. There were 620 homes that sold in 77450, which is a big portion of Katy. Now, I could have just typed Katy in here, but we didn't. So
Is
the-
it best, Michael, to do general like that? Because we know 77450 is a huge area.
But we want to get enough data,
Okay.
right? If I picked your subdivision, we'd have blank spaces in here. So this gives us a feel for what's going on.
Okay.
So now I want to see all of the spaces. So let's go ahead. This is Memorial Metrics. So every month when you cut a check to the office for 100 and change, big chunk of it goes to things like this. I spend every penny on stuff for you. Like we keep $0 of your monthly bill. And so we're also open books company. You get to see where we spend your money. Sometimes I don't pick the best things. Like I'll spend too much on a company party. But did we have a killer company party last month?
Yes.
That was awesome. So let's take a look. I clicked one button here on the bottom left. And now I
What's it
can,
called, Michael? Sorry.
what
Take a
it's
note.
called whole time period.
Whole time.
Yeah, and now I can click here and say, here's the trend. Never care about that. But what I do care about is number of units. So the number of units in that area was, 40 was last month. And you're like, well, that's so high. That's because the average price went up to 400 and change, whatever that number is. We had 63 a year ago. We had a high, it looks like, of 86 in June. So it was a little hotter then. And half of that happened last month. This growth here just represents the price point. Now, I can see other things like for sale. As soon as I have more than one up, the for sale are the red, the closings are the green, then I lose the numerical data. So if I want to get that back, I just get rid of the solds. And now we see how many listings there are. So there's 168, maybe 188. Melissa, what does that number say to you?
100. Sorry, it's tiny. 168.
Oh, 168. So we have a low in listings of about 115 and then a high of the 170s. Right now, 168. That seems to be a good, right? It's not crazy ups and downs. Price point's about the same. It hasn't gone crazy. It was a little low in April. All that's not going to do anything for a seller except for show, hey, this person's able to pull up data in seconds about my neighborhood. I have all kinds of other things I can add in there. I can click on new homes. So for sale is one thing. New is what came on. Under contract, let's get rid of that. Under contract is in here. I can do 3 different things at a time. That's okay. The next thing that I'm going to show you is the one I want you to lean into and say, okay, today I'm going to learn this, because if you've been with me for 10 years or 10 minutes, you learning this is going to change your world. It's going to change your world significantly. And if I'm a new agent and I master this, which you can in minutes, you have a whole lot to offer that somebody who's been at another company for 5 years doesn't have. So let's learn what I'm about to show you. I'm going to go into tools and I click on pricing analysis. Okay. So we're going to pick, we get to pick our area. We get to pick whatever we want. I'm going to stick with 450. So let's do 77450. Again, why I like zip code, it covers a broader range. We're going to get a good sampling as opposed to picking a subdivision. I could pick a subdivision if it was a big enough one, like Fall Creek. That's a big one. We have an agent who farms it extremely well. She pulls 10 million out of there because she's mastered it like a pro. But we use this kind of data on big subdivisions. We can pick subdivision, but right now, zip code, again, we have 620. Now, on that listing that you had, what was the price range? Like, what was that property listed at, Tara? Use your microphone. What
This
did
is
the,
when I get hung up.
well, that's
with
okay.
this.
What do you think it's worth and what do the sellers want?
My price range is 345
Okay,
to 380.
so 345. If I'm the seller, what do I want?
They were, they, 365.
Okay, let's do that. So 345 is what I have in here, minimum price range. 365 is what, let's say, your sellers want. And now here's where everything gets cool because you're able to show them some really neat stuff. I go to target price range now that I've got that, and it's going to do in just 30 seconds something you could never do on the MLS. And now I'm going to the left and I'm going to click SPOP. And we'll do this again, I promise everybody. There were 29 homes that sold in that area between 345 and 365 in the last 12 months. 29 homes. I'm over here on the left side because some of you can't see this. 18 needed no price reduction. They didn't get list price, but they had no price reductions in HAR. They started off at 345,244. 354,000, I should say, 354,000. They got 353,000. It took 11 days to get there. 0 price reductions in HAR. The other group, these green dots, they started off in that same area at 385. So they started off $30,000 higher, yet they only got $1,000 more. They got $354,500. So they got $1,200, $1,300 more. Was it worth it? Now you're able to say, was it worth it? Well, they were on the market for 56 days. What do you suppose the mortgage payment is on let's say $300,000? So was it worth it for them to overprice to get $1,200 more? Not just no, heck no, because we're at a KW and we're not allowed to cuss. No way it was worth it. They had 2 mortgage payments. The other group had less than 1 mortgage payment. This shows you how awesome you are that you're able to provide them this. They ended up having 1.8 price reductions. What a pain. Hey guys, I need you to drop the price. Oh, 3 weeks later, hey guys, I need you to drop the price. You are the queen or king, depending on how you identify, by doing this. Now, the group that needed no price reductions, they got $158 a foot. The other group that needed price reductions, they got $140 a foot. What that tells you is, in big, bold letters, price it wrong in this area, you're going to get stung. Listen to an awesome agent that has this really cool program because you have this really great broker that pays for it, you're going to do very well. You got to say all that. Okay, now let's take it back. Let's don't go 365 days. Let's go ahead and take it back to 90 days. Again, for anybody that's writing in or texting me right now, I'm going to go through this again. So in the last 90 days, you haven't had enough activity. You've only had 5 properties. So yeah, you made $168 a foot if you priced it right and $128 if you priced it wrong, but it's not a big enough sampling size to get that. So let's go ahead to 180 days, or we can go a little 150 days. Let's see what happened there. In 150 days, you had 3 properties that needed price reductions. You had 5 that needed no price reductions. The ones who needed no price reductions got 355. If you needed to do price reductions because you overpriced, because you started off at 405, you got 452. 452 versus, stop, everybody stop. Start off at 405 because I 52. versus 355 if I priced it correctly. I was on the market for 109 days if I priced it wrong versus 16 days if I priced it right. I got $151 a foot if I priced it right. I got $130 if I priced it wrong. And I was on the market for 4 months. My gosh, it's important. In 77450, I price it correctly. So that's how you use this. So let's go through it. Who would like to actually come up here and do it? And I'll be by your side guiding you through when you get stuck. I want you to actually have the muscle memory to do it. And by the way, these tickets suck today. What? Let's come on up. This is fun. Yeah, I know. We're class participative. And if you're at home, we can do it for you too. So wait a minute, Melissa, I want to clear everything so she can't see.
Mhm.
Start her over from scratch. No, I don't get irritated. That's the other D's. I'm like a kitten. No, you're just going to use you want to sit or you want to stand? Okay, let me move this out of your way. Hold on. Yeah, let's go with zip code for right now. All right, so did you clear it all out for her, Melissa? Don't want you to see anything, so I don't want to give you any hints at all. There is the zip code. Oh, we can pull the zip code.
Okay.
If somebody want to get the zip code for this property, okay. Clearly that's 77008. I'm kidding, I just made that up. That'd be fun. If it's in the Heights, that would be cool. Okay. Okay, 77099. Thank you, Carl. So first, okay, you got to click the zip code. So we want to go through every button you're pushing right now so everyone can see it. Now, it's horrible that they do this to you. They make you scroll down on this thing instead of giving you just a search that you can type in. All right, so I'm going to be way over here. 77099. Yeah, go ahead, use the mic though.
Okay, so in terms of the average of days on the market, when you get those numbers, that means that will be an average of days if in general for the market. Can you say that? Can we say that we will be selling?
Can't say anything futuristic, but based on past.
Okay, like
right?
a pattern.
Like you never tell somebody, we're going to get $10 million. Because then when we don't get $10 million and we get $1 million, I get served papers. So we can say based on past, this is what happened. We can shoot for that and I feel good about it, but it's no guarantee. Leave this alone. All she did is click single family, right? Now, what do we want to change in here? First off, what's the price of the property? Is that what you have it listed at? And what do you think it's really worth? What do they want for the property? Hold on, let's give you a microphone right here. I got it. Everybody wants to hear what you have to say.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we listed the property at $499,900.
And how long ago did you do that?
Last month.
Okay,
It's
last month. What do you really think it's worth?
Probably 467.
Okay, now we're being honest. All right. So
They wanted 500 for it.
there you go. So let's put in here, it's going to give us a certain step. So we're going to change that price range.
Target price range.
Yeah, go 467.
Where's your, okay, so we're gonna go 467.
All right, now we're going to go to the increment and it's going to decide for us how big increments it'll allow. Click the drop down. No.
Oh,
Click
so
the
you
drop
can
down.
pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if it was $1 million property, it's going to give you a much bigger step than these. But what you're looking at, well, pretty close to almost a $50,000 step. We can go 25. 25 would get us to 4, whatever that would be, 8792. But let's do the $25,000 step. But right now you're actually more than that, right? You're at 490. Yeah, so your call. Let's go ahead and go with this.
Okay,
So now you've got what you needed in.
then we're gonna go up here to.
Why? Oh, not yet, not yet. Just go to search. The bottom right, right there. Yeah.
Yes.
So
We
in,
did
in,
25
in that area,
25,000.
there's nothing that's happened in that price range, so we won't find anything. That's difficult, right? Because in that whole zip code, we didn't find anything. What city is it?
It's Houston.
Is it Houston, really?
It's anomaly.
It's a anomaly. I mean, here's what you have in that area. You had 142,000 to 367,000. The height in that area is about 200 and change, right? And then you have this one little odd dude out here that's 617,000. So there's nothing in that 300 range at all. You have nothing to go by. So
Yes. Well, here's the thing, because it's on a subdivided acre home site
okay,
and it was on a private street. So
let's talk into the mic. So we're gonna.
So it was on a private street. It had, it's not a great home at all. So on one side.
All
Well,
right.
it's just a personal opinion. It's a personal
Are we
opinion.
sharing that with the seller?
Well, they kind of thought when I sent comps over, the first thing the brother said was, "My house don't look like any of these homes, Kathleen."
Okay.
But the lot was the thing that was going to sell, and because it is in the city and it's on a private street, and it was an acre lot subdivided, one side didn't have anything. I started looking at lots to do a
But
comparison.
it was a single family.
Yes, on one side, and the other side was an open lot.
She's got vacant land across from her if you use Google.
Yeah, but that's what I had to do. So right. That's right. That's what I said. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, there's just
So
nothing
it
there.
wasn't a good one to do, actually.
Well, I mean, it's a good one to know that it's not a good one to do. Yeah.
Okay.
So and when you get something like that, you're doing the comps, you do price per square foot. That's kind of what you did. How did you determine that price of 500? What's your microphone?
So I kind of decided, because of what it was, an acre lot where it was a private street. So I took into account all of those things. So I started looking for properties that was just land and how much the land was going for a half acre, plus the home plus the home site that the home sat on, and kind of arrived at the price that we arrived at. We did get one offer at 450. We got another offer at 400, and we held out, and we got our 499 full price offer.
There you go.
And
Because
it sold 3 days.
it's odd, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's why.
so that's a tough one. It's just,
It scared me when I first got it.
Yeah.
Because I had never done anything like it.
but isn't
so-
that fun to go through that and to be successfully maneuvered through it?
Yeah.
All right, somebody with a not odd property, come on up. Or do we have anybody at home that has a listing that you want to work through, and we'll work through it with you? Crystal Beach, okay, come on up.
Hey, oh, sorry.
Well, that's all right. Who wants to go first? All right, so we're gonna have the person who drove in for this class. Now, we love everybody that's at home doing this too, and we know it's convenient, but let's do this one, Mel, and you're gonna do the microphone too as you're talking through it.
Okay.
So we're gonna get out of this
And I'm excited because I have a title company is doing we're doing 5 open houses together this weekend.
Okay,
on Saturday.
very cool. All
So
right.
Hopefully, we'll see, this makes me.
All right,
confident.
so what's the first thing that you do? We're gonna click on what?
I have no idea.
We're gonna click on single family. Right there. And then let's start with zip code. So where would we go for that? Go to the right, go up 3 inches, go to the right 3 inches, go up an inch. There you go. Okay, now you could pick city. Where's it at? Okay, Crystal Beach, you can go ahead and just do, try typing in Crystal Beach.
What do I type?
You don't type, you scroll. Yeah, I
I
know.
didn't pay attention very well at all. I was trying to walk in is my problem.
Oh, you got it. Your muscle memory is going to help you. Okay. So how many properties sold in Crystal Beach in the last year?
There's that, yeah.
Right there, 309. Okay, what's the property worth? Well, what do you feel it's worth?
We're at 549 right now.
What do you feel it's worth?
I'm not,
Let's take a look at, if you're not sure, let's go with 5 to 550. Let's just see what's going on. You got to click on that to activate it. Yeah, so 500. And now it's going to give you a step of, let's go 50,000. All right, now we just want to search. This program's super easy to use as long as you get some practice in. That's why you feel it out. I mean, here, unlike her property, you have properties, right? So that's a good first step. Now let's take a look. Now, once you do this, you're going to go up to target price range. Go left, down, so right there. And now, so that gives us our first thing. And now we're going to go to the left under views and left just slightly about an inch. Okay, down and go down and SPOP. So this is where people get stuck. They're like, what? SP selling price and probably offered price or O price or something. Took me to know this. All right, now how many total properties, and people at home, you can see this too. How many total properties sold in the last 12 months between 400 and 450,000? Pointing to it if you can't see it. Yeah. Go left with your cursor. Right here.
all probably 17.
17. How many needed no price reduction?
Well, but if my people,
Take your microphone.
if my sellers, 549 is that is their, well, that's where their bottom dollar is right now. That's
Got
why
it.
we're there.
But now
But
we're gonna
like-
get, we give them reality because I can have my bottom
Understood.
dollar is a
I
lot
just
more than.
wanted to see, so, but my question is if I put in 550,000 increments, am I stopping myself from seeing anything that's potentially above this?
Right now you are. Then
Okay.
we're gonna, right now we're just getting a feel for it. How many people in this scenario needed what we call no price reduction in MLS? 9. They started off at what? Go to the right. Their average price just to the right of that 9 is 536. What did they ultimately get? 523. And how many days did it take? And 0 price reductions. Now, the group that did need price reductions, the other half, the other 8, they started off at 609 or 606, right? So they started off way higher, 80,000 more. How much did they get to the right? 519, they got 4,000 less. They started off at $80,000 more. So this tells you Crystal Beach, if you're pricing it wrong, you're going to get it. How long were they on the market? The other group was on for 47 days. They were on for 160 days on Crystal Beach, Margaritaville. Yes, you're right. And they needed how many price reductions? You know how stressful it is going to the seller. Hey, we need a price. Hey, we need another one. They needed an average of 2.2, which means 3. So, and what did they get price per square foot with all that drama? 160 days on the market, $80,000 higher. They ended up getting far right. They got 338. The others got 339. Price it right in this area just for the heck of it. And trust me on this. 160. How many? Divide that by 30. You're going to get 5 mortgage payments that you needed to do on this thing. 5 mortgage payments at 500,000. Are you kidding me? Stop the madness. That's like nutty. Now, if we lower that, we're going to find there's not that many properties that are going to come up. That's in the last year. Let's try it in 180 days and let's see what happened. Go to the left where you just were and go 180 days. In 180 days, you had 9 properties, 4 that needed no price reduction. They started off at 532. The other guy started off about $90,000 higher at 623. If I priced it right, 532 got us 520. If I priced it wrong, 629, it got 10,000 less. I got 510. And I was on the market for 158 days. Sounds like a lot like 160. So it doesn't matter. In Crystal Beach, you price it wrong, you pay. You had less than 1 mortgage payment. You had less than 1 mortgage payment. Like me. Wow. Versus 158 versus 126. I ended up getting, yes, I ended up getting only 314 a foot if I priced it right, and 332 if I priced it wrong, but I needed 5 mortgage payments to get there. Oh my gosh, I'd rather price it correct and not get as much. Yes, question. Let's throw a microphone. Or I'll repeat your question. I am the best instructor. Thank you so much for saying that. No, just kidding. Here you can say.
Okay, would you present this when you go on your initial, because they tell you about price. I like to tell a client, well, I'm going to go home and do some homework, after I find out what they're looking for, what they're hoping to get. So would you then send this back to them? Because wouldn't you want to sit and explain that with them?
I want to explain this. They will not get it. I'm showing that the first second I meet them. I'm vomiting this on them because guess what? They don't have this from anybody else. If somebody else shows up the next day, their neighbor, and they're like, oh, I'd price it this. And I'm like, okay, I want them to see this. And they're like, oh my gosh, this person is like a master. They know everything. That's what you have.
Okay, so on the listing appointment,
I'm showing them this.
you open your computer and show it to them, you printing it out.
You can print it, but if I show up with my laptop or my iPad, I can do it just as easy.
Can I say something? Hi,
Who is this?
this is Tanya. So if you want to present this really, really nicely, make sure you don't miss the class that we have on Friday at 2:30 with Michael Bossart and me. And you're going to have an amazing listing presentation. And in that listing presentation, you're including this information. And you have the script and everything to talk about it. And you know exactly how to present it and what to say and everything.
Perfect.
So Tanya into this new listing presentation. That is really loud. So did you do it? Were you, Tanya, are you driving while you did that? I heard that signal.
I'm driving. I'm so sorry. I had to pick up my girls, but at the same time, I love that these classes on Zoom. Every time there is, I take it. It's so hard to read people and to be able to relate with them. You have to handle your own personality and their personality. But it's a great class, and I always try to take it. At the same time, this information is really, really amazing. And it's something that differentiates all the agents from this company to any other company. And if you add it to the right listing presentation, it's just, you're just going to rock it. And you feel confident when you have to talk to the seller. That's the best part of it. You're prepared, confident, and amazing.
All right. ¿Qué pasó? All right. So we have KW Power Lister that we're going to be showing this week. So Tanya has put in hundreds of hours working with the programmer to redesign it. So you're going to have a listing presentation on Friday. We're going to give you the update shortly after that, but come on Friday so you can learn how to use the listing presentation we have, and this will integrate with it. I have no idea. What time's the class, Tanya?
The class is 2:30 to, from 2:30 to 4:30.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go through this and how to use this with KW Power Lister. Paige Martin helped me design that 14 years ago. She only does $250 million a year. So I just been telling you, come to that class on Friday. Be the first to see the updates that we've put in. And yeah, you'll get to see this. All right. Who was my person who wanted to, who was the person who wanted to do their listing? Yes, first, yes, no. Use your mic.
Are you talking to somebody in person?
I got somebody in person who's not using a microphone because she refuses to use a microphone.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yes,
I see on here that, and it does say that the average original price 623, but I just want to confirm that when I put in that 50,000 increment earlier, I didn't make anything where I'm not seeing everything.
you are not seeing everything. You're
Yeah,
seeing that
so, like,
range.
I want to see like, yeah.
You want to, if you want to go bigger.
That's what I
So
wanted
you
to
kind
make
of, you
sure.
kind of did. Let's go back. It's a great, beautiful question. Let's go back to that other screen before you did pricing distribution. Here you go. Here is everything
Okay.
all the way out. So you have things that went for 1.3 million. The majority are in the 400 to 500. This is your range right here. And there is your 17 properties.
But like,
So
yeah, so like at the 550 part, well, I guess I'm not.
if at the 550 part, if you decided to go bigger, you would include these other guys over here.
So these are, because the 550 to 6 is higher of a higher,
Yeah, 550 to 6 is higher than,
yes.
you sold 4 million. You know the answer to this. Her first year, she sold 4 million.
What I'm saying is that, so then the price point up, so they're at 549, the house right next door is listed at 599. So like, but it's new construction is why, we're in between that space there. But
Yeah.
I want to make sure that they're not missing out.
Do
Like,
you want
I
to go
haven't
bigger?
had any,
Do you want to go bigger?
I just want to see, like, at this point, I'm had 18.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's change it.
Yeah.
Let's go to
How
your,
do I do?
you're gonna, no, you're gonna go to search up on top. So if you want to do an edit, now we can just change the price. We don't have to do
Okay.
anything else. Yeah, or you can go 500 and, or you can go 520. Sorry,
Sorry, 550, okay.
okay, but do you, or you could go a smaller number, whatever you want to do. And search does bring you back to that main screen.
Okay, so if I
And-
wanted to really see the whole range of what I want to look at. Right, so. Yeah, that's probably.
What would you like to put in? 520, 525? Okay, so
625.
525 to 625, and now, there you go. Now you want to go to target price, no, target price range, go over 2 spaces right there. And now you got that, and now go to the left and go views and click SPOP. Remember OP from, what was the show with Mayberry and he was Ron Howard? Yeah, OP. No, not OP. Was it OP? It was OP. All right.
So these people.
All the young people at home are like, what the hell is going on in there? All right. In the last year, there were only 8 properties. How many needed no price reduction?
So if I'm going between the 525 and 625, you have 5 properties. that
5
needed
needed no price reduction. They started off at 546. They got 533. It took 43 days. The other 3 started off at 596, and they only got about 1,600 more. They got 534.9, but it took 200 days. Can you imagine having to show up and your seller every day, did we get an offer? And you're like, I didn't get an offer. That's not the way to do it, right? Here, 43 days versus 203. They got about the same price per square foot. They actually got less, and they were priced crazy high, and eventually they dropped the price enough after 3 price reductions. You know, it's just, it's painful.
So.
Yeah, 330, 333 versus 334. And we're in the sweet spot. Of course, then there's other things, condition and blah, blah, blah. But use this, right? Because this gives you powers. What are you saying? I can't hear you with your microphone not turned on. Good.
I think then you have to explain to the client, other things that make your property or their property either better than, less than, depending on what they've done, if they've done any updates, where that one is, as opposed to some of the other ones that may be out there. And that's where your expertise come into, I think, when you start looking at the other ones.
Wait a minute. If you list with KW Memorial, your home is getting put on 330 real estate websites tonight. If you list with me, if you list with KW Metropolitan or Compass or EXP, none of that is happening. Tonight, we're having a website created and it's going to go on all your social media. When somebody clicks on that, it's going to send you the lead. All this other marketing is happening automatically because you're with KW Memorial. So that's what you want to let's do it. Spending a ton of money for this stuff, and our agents are getting results because we have less time on market than the other agents for so many of the different areas. So you got a lot of stuff. Anybody at home want to try theirs? We have 13 minutes and 12 seconds.
I had a question about my property.
Okay. This is Gabby Simpson.
That is me.
Okay.
It is my personal investment property I'll be selling. It's going to hit the market in May.
Okay.
And I'm a little stressed about it because
Okay.
they're still selling a ton of new construction in that neighborhood.
Everybody's had that scenario, right? And so let's go ahead and use facts that we've got.
Okay.
So first and foremost, what do you, the objective seller, feel your house?
As the objective seller, I really think that I should be able to sell it for $260.
Okay. So you think 260. What would a listing agent think their house is worth? What would, if I was selling the property for you, how much would an agent say it's worth?
I've done a few CMAs, so I honestly think I think I'm right. I think 260 is the number.
Okay, well, let's go ahead. I'm going to, just for the heck of it, play devil's advocate. Is there a lot of stuff going on in the area?
It's right off of 242, so they're doing a lot of construction, which is why the taxes are skyrocketing. They're building a lot of stuff out there.
All right. So you feel like 260 is kind of the range, right?
I think so. Give me a second because I have my agent metrics up too, and so I'm trying to follow you.
So I've got you at 245 just for the heck of it. Let me share a little story. I am a horrible seller. So 6 years ago, I had my house on the market, and let's just say that it didn't sell right away because I'm that seller. And so one of my agents goes ahead and whips out this program, and she convinced me to lower the price. And lo and behold, I stopped doing double mortgage payments because it's sold. I'm not going to say who that agent was, but she's got a strong Italian accent. Okay. So let's go ahead. And what's the area of your property?
It's out in New Caney.
Hold on. How do I spell New Caney? Let me see.
Caney.
Hey, everybody else on the line, is this okay for you guys? Is this a good format for you? Is this making sense? We want you to get this.
So you're going cities instead of,
Yeah,
okay.
because in city, I have 1,200 in your city. Now I could just do your zip code. Let's bring it down.
You think that's better?
No, not necessarily. Let me take a look. Wow. So that is the area of price, 245 to 260. I can go bigger, but let's just go ahead and hit target price range. Yeah, everything's selling for that out there. And if you price it wrong, or if you price it right, it's not that painful out there. Everything is just popping. That's in the last year. We'll take a look in the last 90 days. But if I priced it wrong, or if I priced it right, there were 33 homes that needed no price reduction. They started off at 255, and it's going to be in MLS. So this may not be the new construction you're competing against, unless they're in MLS. They started off at 255, 256 almost. They got 253. It took 19 days to get there, 0 price reductions. I got 144 a foot. If I priced it wrong, that's the other 125. I started off at 269 instead of 255, 269. I got 250. So it cost me $3,000 in sales price and an extra mortgage payment. I was on for 47 days. So you do have some consequences for pricing it wrong. Now, what do the last 60 days look like? Because there's so much going on, I can go ahead and take a look at it in the last 60 days. There were 40 properties that sold. 7 needed no price reduction. They started off at 256. They got 251. The other 33 started off at 274. They got 251. They got $500 less. They were on the market for about the same amount of time, 37 days if I priced it right, 49 days if I priced it wrong. I got $1 a foot less for pricing it wrong. It wasn't crazy. So if you had a seller like you who said, hey, I need to have this higher price, give it to them, because they're not going to be on the market for a ton of time. Stuff is selling quickly. Do you guys see the importance of this program and checking it on different areas? Because it is wildly different depending on what you do. So let's go ahead and play devil's advocate, and let's bump this up to 25,000 more. Now I'm 245 to 270. Let's see if things change. In the last 60 days, I go to, or last 365 days, let's go ahead and say, boom. Ton of stuff, ton of data. And I click on SPOP, really important. There's 237 properties. Now, things do change as we go into that higher price point, and we'll take a look at it in less time. And I know some of you guys think we're wigging out on this and we're throwing out a lot of terms. Just know there were 237 properties that sold in the last year in this area between, what did I start with and what did I end with? I forgot. I can look it up.
245 to 270.
Yeah, okay, so we had a bigger step. 50 properties needed no price reduction. They got started off at 259. They got 247. Are you guys able to see my screen, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, because that'd be weird if you couldn't. All right, so 259, they got 257. It took 18 days to get into escrow. I made $148 a foot. If I went with that higher price, there were 187 that did that because they're sellers that were a little higher. They started off at 274. They got 254. So they got 20,000 less than what they listed it for, and they got 3,000 less than the people who priced it right. But they were on the market more than twice as long, and they got $142 a foot. So just saying, if you price it wrong in that area, there are some consequences as you get higher. Now, let's take a look at the last 60 days. In the last 60 days, there were 59 people that sold, 10 that needed no price reduction. They got $254. The 49 who needed a price reduction, they also got $254. They got about $100 more, but they were on the market for 15 days more. That might be worth it. The property was bigger slightly. So just know that you get less price per square foot if you price it wrong and you're on the market a little bit longer, not an eternity in your area. So you can make some mistakes. It's like telling your kids they're graduating from school, it's okay to make some mistakes because you can recover. And that other zone that we were at, it took a lot more to recover.
Okay.
So don't fear putting it out there. Just don't be crazy about it and just monitor it.
Okay. I appreciate you. If I have questions like later on outside of this class about best ways to market that specific property, who do I talk to?
Not Roger. You can call either of us, Roger or me. We're here to guide you through this.
I appreciate you. I might pop in and see you on Wednesday after Bold. Thank you.
Proud of you for doing Bold. All right, very good. Anybody else? We're kind of there. Guys, if you don't have a password, right? Does everybody in here have a password or URL? Okay. Nah, yeah, email me, or you guys can email me, michaelb@kw.com, and Melissa will get you taken care of.
What no, I mean, I was gonna tell you, Michael, that I love your program and it's been an amazing tool and I've been using it to do thousands of graphs.
How cool is
And
that?
I'm like, I learned about Baytown market, just putting different stuff in there and seeing how the market works. And
You guys, this will make you so smart so quick, right? That's the goal, to learn this stuff, and they don't have this in other offices. This program isn't cheap. I took a big chunk of what I get and we invest in things like this. So use it. And by the way, when you have an agent on the other end of the deal, it's okay to show them this and say, hey, take a look at KW Memorial. Love for my broker, Michael, to talk with you. And we'll show them all this stuff. I do it in my presentations. You were sad that you didn't have it Sunday night, Mrs. Tara, without a microphone? That's Tara. Tara, who hit 24 million at one point.
I was sad that I didn't have this in my presentation Sunday night, but I have such a, strong listing presentation that I had other things in there.
Yeah.
And I walked away. I knew they were interviewing somebody else. And I walked away there like, okay, 50-50 chance. So then she called me last night and she said she wanted to go with me.
Yeah.
And I was so excited. And she said the other agent did not show up as prepared as I was. And I said, thank you for sharing, because when I get listings and I'm up against other agents, I don't know why you choose me over somebody else, but that's good to know. So all those other papers that I put in there, and I didn't know
Absolutely.
what style they were yet, because it was a referral and it just boom, boom, can you come out? So after my husband's birthday party, there I'm going to a listing presentation up against several people. But because I was prepared and I already have a listing presentation put together and I have a buyer's presentation, you just, you can just do it on the fly.
Oh, high D, high C, you show up prepared or you're completely out. High I, they'll work with you. High S, they also like you to be prepared, but high C and high D, you will completely lose with them if you don't have your stuff.
To know that, like, there's agents that are not showing up with any information. So this is super powerful.
Yeah, that's great to know that people are not prepared. What? Emily shows up with nothing. Emily's got a referral group that's pretty strong. Yeah.
Michael,
Yes.
yes, before you finish, just to make it a little bit more complicated, how do we do if some part of the house has been renovated?
Well, you're factoring that in, right? First, you're showing up with about what the property should go for. The seller has their price in mind. This program is designed in one main piece of it is seller feels their house is worth this. You're saying based on comps, it's worth this. I'm doing my hands in different levels if you can't see it. And so somewhere in between is the answer typically. This program helps to show if we price it wrong, seller, this is what is going to happen based on past results, right? That's so you want to show them there are consequences. You can't just price it for 50,000 above what it's worth, because here's how long you're going to be on the market. Unfortunately, in MLS, it's not cleanly laid out what will happen to you if you price it wrong. This one should be crystal clear. This is what happened to these people, right? You can see how long things were on the market in HAR, but now you have to figure all that out. This does it all for you, nice and clean with dots, right? It hits every disc group.
Can I tell something? Nevertheless, it's important to have a CMA from the MLS to analyze. I mean, this is to see if the CMA that you're using gives you to the right price, and what happens if you mislead your client from the right price. But the right price doesn't come directly just from here, right?
Yeah, we don't use the word mislead ever. That's not who we are. But I get what you're saying. We show comps, and then we show where would you like to price it based on this? Great, let me show you what happened. And then you whip that out and they're like, whoa, Haven't seen that before. That's really cool. So you want to practice ahead of time before you go on that listing presentation, right? Let's have it. Do I pick city or do I pick zip code, right? Then you have more options. If you practice ahead of time and you're not there freaking out, you have your stuff ready to go. You can show them that, right, in paper format. But if you show it to them on the fly, that's really cool. I would have paper in case their internet is horrible, right? But if you have a hotspot, okay. But maybe the program's down, maybe this, maybe that, have it printed out. Pretend you're a high C and have it printed out. You're a high I and you're trusting of everything. Aren't you glad we did the disc first? Yeah, a lot of things. Yeah. Okay, I fall in that group. She said, when you're old, you're not as trusting. This place has made me old. All right, anybody else? Guys, thanks for sticking around. It was great to have you all. And guys, if you need more help on this, we can help you one-on-one if you took this class. If you don't have a password, please email me and Melissa will take care of you and she'll show you how to get in there. She'll send you whatever you need. Melissa, is there anything that you need?
Right now, no.
Right, you good? Everybody good at home?
Yeah.
Okay. That's over.